Okay, getting comments on the show is what we live for. JC said, I made a comment in the last podcast. We're going to talk Jaguars now. We're talking Jaguars. And I better just say this first off the bat before we talk about music, North Florida entertainment, anything else going on out there. We got to say, we really got to say, we really got to say that the Jags win. They can live again. A win takes care of everything. You win, it takes care of everything. Ask Billy Napier, Florida. He loses to Kentucky, man. They're ready for him to leave. A nice 48-20 win, Florida over Kentucky. Things are a lot better. And some people call Gainesville. Is it Larry Saucer that told me that they call Gainesville Hogtown? Seemed like it should be called Gatortown. I shaved. I shaved on Blue Monday. On Monday. Early Monday morning. Blue Monday. I think JC's going to play that song on Lake Upala Hits this Thursday. Max, you're welcome to play it on Wednesday. JC kind of corrected me. He said, "Oh, it's Blue Monday's not an album track because it was a released single, Blue Monday by Foreigner. Gosh, that had to be late 70s. JC will give you the year in the comments. I mean, I haven't looked it up, but I can remember memories. I can remember years gone by, cold as ice. When Head Games came out, that song Head Games came out. That had to be 1980. Head Games 79, 1980, and Blue Monday was before that. Okay, JC said it's a single by Foreigner years ago, but it got up only to 15 on the top 40, top 100 chart, if you will. If it doesn't make top 10, could it be considered or construed by myself and other, affluent members of the media that were in radio, playing music on the radio, programming music on the radio? I did sports talk on the radio too. I had a myriad of opportunities and experiences. And we'll talk about some of those here on the podcast, on the Teal Shirt Report podcast. I guess we should still kick in here and call this episode show 56C, perhaps. Are we talking? Let's go 56C. 56C. Okay. The reason why I want to call this still episode show 56, I want to continue to salute Jeff Loggeman, who played big defensive end for the Jaguars. He was on the very first Jaguars team when they started playing in 1995. Don Davey was on that team. But number 56 was a guy that's still really a jewel, a precious jewel in our community in Northeast Florida, and that's Jeff Loggeman, number 56. A lot of players decide they want to stay in Jacksonville, where the beach is, basically Northeast Florida, after they retire. So Blue Monday to me was a song that JCI heard, and I said, man, this is cool. This ain't Cold as Ice. This is Blue Monday. It's a little different. Maybe it's an album track. JC said it was a single release, and I'll take his word for it because he's kind of the grand poobah when it comes to checking and researching music. I don't do as much research on music as they do. I just know what I like to hear. Then we got to talking about more Foreigner, and I said, well, Head Knocker, the song Head Knocker by Foreigner had to be an album track, and I think JC agreed with me on that one, according to his research. Jaguars came from behind and beat New England 32-16 in game 2 of 2 games in London after losing to the Chicago Bears the week before, I think 35-16. Now the Jags are 2-5, and I heard of one of the TV talking heads on local TV said, hey, they've won 2 out of 3. Well, that's great. Now they're 2-5. But I think this Green Bay game coming up, and bear in mind, this is a home game in Jacksonville. This is in front of the real home crowd. Not over in England. This is the real home crowd. The Boulder City of the South, as we used to call it and still refer to it. Duval, if you will. This is the turning point of the season. You beat Green Bay, you got a chance to go on a nice winning streak. You lose to Green Bay, I think it's over. This is the absolute turning point of the season. Green Bay's a 4.5-point favorite. By the way, we're brought to you by Saucer Realty and Capital. If you're watching on YouTube, and a lot of you are, we're getting more views now. We're also you can check us out on the audio. The audio platforms. Go to our website, bigjreport.com. You can access the latest audio platform Teal Shirt Report podcast episode on our website at bigjreport.com. We are brought to you by Saucer Realty and Capital for your real estate needs in North Florida. There's a link on the homepage near our 24/7 North Florida weather. Man, the weather. And I got up early on Wednesday morning. That's when I do these podcasts the best, when I get up super early. I didn't necessarily sleep as much last night as I did over the weekend. I slept pretty good over the weekend, but, I had a rough wake up this morning. And so, JC, keep that in mind. You are my executive producer now. I feel like I'm a relatively healthy guy, but I drink a lot of coffee. I don't smoke. Anything, cigarettes or anything. I've never been a smoker. Never been really a drinker. If I do drink beer, it might be 2 or 3 beers a year, 4 beers a year back in the old days. So I'm not a drinker, not a smoker at all. So I try to stay relatively healthy. I run, I walk a lot. And, we do our podcast and the website at bigjreport.com. You can scroll the homepage for Saucer Realty and Capital for your real estate needs in North Florida, whether it's home, residential, business, or commercial real estate. Leave it to Saucer Realty and Capital. And when you sell that home, you'll get more. You'll get more money for the home than you did get. When you think back at past home transactions, if you sold a building, a house, a business. So here we are on the Teal Shirt Report podcast. Coffee's good coffee, boy. Blue Monday, I think it charted the highest at number 15, according to JC, our executive producer. And I appreciate the info. I appreciate the comments on our podcast. I really do. On the scroll, the Teal Shirt Report podcast is brought to you by Saucer Realty and Capital. The Mad Max Mix.weebly.com. Max is a great show on Wednesday nights, madmaxmix.weebly.com. He'll give you his phone number during the show, and you can call in your request, or better yet, text in the request. And JC live from the pub on Thursday nights, 6 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock Eastern Time at LakeUvalahits.com. Great internet radio where it's all good. JC, please play Blue Monday. Please play Blue Monday on your show this Thursday and maybe even the following Thursday. JC, you can hear him every Thursday night with his show live from the pub on Lake Eufaula Hits. The Mad Max Show, man, I don't miss it on Wednesdays. Great show. Check it out. The madmaxmix.weebly.com each Wednesday evening, 6 to 8 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock till 9 o'clock Eastern Time. So those are the sponsors: Saucer Realty and Capital, Lake Eufaula Hits, and the Mad Max Mix.weebly.com. Georgia Tech was having a real good season, and they're still having a good season as far as Georgia Tech is concerned. They're 5-3. Georgia Bulldogs got back on the winning track in a big way by disposing of the Texas Longhorns in Texas, 30-15. So the poll has changed around some. We have not completely put together the bigjreport.com SEC Power Rankings, but that is on our list this week. I'm hoping to get to that by the weekend, if not sooner. So thank you for checking with us. I do have an AP poll. I think we did the AP poll on the last podcast as well. This is episode show. What did we call this? 56C. Still saluting Jeff Loggeman, former Jacksonville Jaguars defensive end. He's worked, Jaguars radio. He's been one of the guys that analyzes the film on media most every week. And he's a good guy. He's a good guy. I've talked to him before. Jeff Loggeman, great player. We did post something on our Facebook group, which I thought was pretty cool. We found the broadcast from the very first Jaguars game when they played the Houston Oilers back in 1995. Big crowd in Jacksonville. I think around 71,000 in the stadium. I was there, um, along with about 71,000 other people, and that was the start of this thing called Jacksonville Jaguars football, which actually, in my mind, started way back in the 70s when the Jaguars started, or actually when the city of Jacksonville and the Gator Bowl started having NFL preseason games. J.C. Buffalo came here, the Jets, Joe Namath, Steve Spurrier when he was a backup with the 49ers. Those are the main three teams I remember coming. I think the 49ers played the Bills one year, and the Jets played the Bills one year. Or is it? It was the Jets and the Bills. No. They were in the same division. So I think it was the 49ers and the Jets played, and the 49ers and the Bills played. I think that's how it shook out. These were early 19, when I was a wee young kid. These were early to mid late, or I should say early to mid 1970s NFL preseason games. And in my mind, as a kid growing up in Jacksonville, that's where it started. This idea of, hey, could Jacksonville ever get an NFL team? Well, national media, we did. Even though most of you said we'd never get a team. So now you see where I stand. Thank you for tuning into the Teal Shirt Report podcast. Jags coming off a 32-16 win. Come from behind win over the New England Patriots. We gave you the stats on the last podcast. JC, I'm glad you're with us. We're 11 minutes in. The college football AP poll is out there. We gave it in the last podcast. We may run it down again. And the BigJReport.com SEC power rankings will come soon in the next couple of days. 12-team playoff this year. Things are shaping up where the four-letter network's talking about the playoff bubble. This team or that team may or may not be on the playoff bubble. If Florida had beaten Tennessee, Florida be 5-2 right now, and they might even be way deep on the playoff bubble. And I think Florida would have been ranked if they'd have won that Tennessee game. A win is a win is a win. Talk about Tennessee being in the top 10. Well, they beat Florida in overtime. They beat Alabama. I think Alabama was leading in that game, so they did come from behind to defeat Alabama. What was it, 24-17? The Tennessee Volunteers have had really dismal first halves in their last three games in their loss against Arkansas, and their come from behind wins barely over Florida in overtime and then Alabama last week, 24-17, and they beat Florida 23-17. So that's some of what's going on. I can quickly go up to give me a moment here, and we will go on the Facebook group, and I'll find a post we did about the AP Top 25. We've got new people joining the Big J Report, the big skip a space J, skip a space report, skip a space, big skip a space J, skip a space report, Big J Report Facebook group. And that group is starting to grow again. Mainly clear skies out there this morning on Wednesday morning, October the 23rd of 2024. Weather capsule, mainly clear skies, breezy at times, and pleasant. In North Florida, low temperature about 66 on Wednesday morning, October the 23rd. But the weather capsule for North Florida, mainly clear skies, breezy at times, and pleasant here in North Florida. It looks like the chance of rain has gone away. So here we go. Weather capsule, mainly clear skies, breezy at times, and pleasant in North Florida. High around 81, lows at night near 64. Winds northeast to north at about 6 to 16 miles per hour. So there you go. That's a look at the weather report. Let me see if I can find this AP. The good old AP. We got new people joining the report Facebook group too. That's a good thing to see. Jaguars play Green Bay. Green Bay 5-2. The Jacksonville Jaguars 2-5. Green Bay coming to Jacksonville on Sunday, and that'd be an afternoon game. I think that was originally No. I'm thinking about the Philadelphia game. It was originally going to be a Sunday night game, and it's been moved back into Sunday, I believe. We'll pull up the point spread again. Let's see here. It's there's a clock on here. It said 1 o'clock. Okay, game week 1 o'clock. Game looks like it's on Fox. Green Bay and the Jaguars. We'll have a chance to see it on our private monitor here at World Headquarters. We're very fortunate here to have actually a private monitor that things that go on at the stadium, and we appreciate the guys that have made that possible. Green Bay 5-2, Jaguars 2-5. Two teams, I wouldn't say they're going in different directions. I think Green Bay's a better than average team. They got a quarterback. It looks like he's back healthy now. Green Bay's a better than average team, but the Jaguars, I would say they're better than their 2-5 record, to say the least, would be the hope at this point. They got up to a slow start. They had a tough schedule. The first 3 games were extremely tough. The thing about it is, you get beat by a good Cleveland team that everybody says is good, and then a few weeks later, the Cleveland team gets, they just kind of disintegrate, and they're not the team they were. The Jags could probably turn around and beat Cleveland now if they played them in the next week or so. So timing is everything, as they say. However, the timing of this Green Bay game is critical for the Jaguars' season. The fact that the Jags were able to come from behind and beat New England sets up an opportunity that they can climb back into this thing. They're 1-1 in the AFC South, 2-5 overall. Last we checked, Green Bay was a 4.5 point favorite. Kickoff is 1 o'clock in Jacksonville. Greg Tardif made a comment. Will the Green Bay Packers fans outnumber the hometown Jaguars fans at the bank? Greg said it would not surprise me. Yeah, I mean, whenever I've gone to games, almost every NFL team brings a lot of fans, whether they live nearby Jacksonville or they're flying in from their city where their team is, or they live in Northeast Florida, Southeast Georgia. They wear their jerseys. They come to the games. The road teams, I mean, I've seen a lot of KC jerseys. When my executive producer and I were at the Green Bay game years ago when Brother Bortles was playing quarterback and Alan Hearns was playing wide receiver, and I guess Allen Robinson was on the team as well. There were a lot of Green Bay fans at that game. I mean, Green Bay, KC. I mean, all in San Francisco, New Orleans, when the New Orleans Saints fans came into Jacksonville. It's almost Tampa Bay. It's almost every team in the NFL. Buffalo have their crowd of people that come to your stadium. So there'll be no doubt there'll be a lot of Green Bay fans at this game. I appreciate the comment by Greg Tardif. We had another post in this group. The Jets guys going crazy about Aaron Rodgers and saying the kickers got to go. Okay, let me. The Jet fans are definitely in their own world. AP top 25 poll. Oregon is 7-0 and number 1 ranked. Georgia number 2 ranked 6-1. Penn State 6-0 ranked 3rd. Those are 3 teams you got to say right off the bat. If they keep winning, they're going to be in the playoff. Ohio State is ranked 4th, 5-1. I'd forgotten Ohio State has lost a game already. They're 5-1. Texas 6-1. They lost to Georgia. Texas is ranked 5th. Miami of Florida is 6th at 7-0. Tennessee slipshotting along. They got beat by Arkansas, and then they were fortunate to win against Florida and Alabama. Tennessee is 6-1, but ranked 7th in the nation. LSU coming off a huge blowout win over Arkansas. LSU 6-1, ranked 8th. Clemson is 9th at 6-1. Iowa State still undefeated, 7-0. BYU 11th from the Big 12 now. BYU 7-0 undefeated, but way back at 11. Notre Dame is 6-1, 12th in the nation. Indiana's 13th at 7-0. They're shaking up the Big Ten. They got a good team, man. They blew out Nebraska last week. And Texas A&M ranked 14th at 6-1. Alabama, whoa, Nelly. Alabama's 5-2 and ranked 15th. The Alabama fans, I don't think they read the Sunday paper last Sunday across the Crimson Tide State. There's another team there too, Auburn, of course. Army and Navy are both undefeated, ranked 23rd. Army and Navy are both undefeated, ranked 23rd and 24th, respectively. Let's just run the whole thing down. Alabama's 15th. Kansas State is 16th at 6-1. Boise State 5-1. All of these teams can make the playoff. They just run the table the rest of the way. Boise State 5-1. Ole Miss 5-2. Pitt Panthers are undefeated, but way back at 19th. Pittsburgh Panthers from the ACC 6-0. Illinois, a surprise team in the Big Ten. They beat Michigan. We called that pick, by the way. Illinois ranked 20th in the AP poll, 6-1. Missouri, the Missouri Tigers 21st. Okay, Missouri people, don't give me a hard time on that. I was just having fun. Missouri 6-1, SMU 6-1, Army 7-0, 23rd in the nation. Let me backtrack. SMU is ranked 22nd at 6-1. Army undefeated 7-0, ranked 23rd. Navy 6-0 at 24th. And how about Vanderbilt? Vandy. I thought Vandy was 4-2. They've got them listed here as 5-1. Is that correct? Vandy has beaten some people. They really have. They lost. The only loss was a Missouri loss in overtime, if you can imagine that. Vanderbilt has some impressive wins. They have beaten Alabama. They have beaten Kentucky. They're 5-1. They beat Ball State 24-14 last week. And Vanderbilt is ranked 25th in the nation. Florida Gators are not ranked. FSU Seminoles are not ranked. FSU's like 1-6. Florida, though, a respectable 4-3 at the moment. So that's the AP top 25. A win is a win. And if you win, you get the fan base off your back. And that's what's happened for a week in Jacksonville. But you got Green Bay coming, right? You do. You got Green Bay. You do. You got, you know who you got coming. You got Green Bay coming into town. The Green Bay Packers with all that historic, legendary. I mean, when Green Bay's playing, you feel all that, historic history is what I'm trying to say. 22 minutes into this thing, JC. Should I do North Florida entertainment real quick? I think we will. Warner is coming. Let's pull up Lou Graham, who used to be at Warner. Man, I could not believe the split that Lou Graham and Mick Jones had years and years ago. Lou Graham had a big hit in the late 90s, I believe it was, Midnight Blue. We know about Blue Monday, JC, was reached 15th on the charts, and apparently it was a single, according to you, and I have no doubt that you are correct. I do apologize for calling it an album track. I think Head Knocker was an album track. JC, play Head Knocker too, if you like. Check that out. Make sure you mention that one's an album track. Okay, we'll check the concerts. Men at Work was here recently. Colin Hay, 71 years old. I got pro and con on Colin Hay. Robert Hall said, man, he sounds as great as ever. Then I had another guy tell me the other day, he doesn't sound as good as he did, 30 years ago. And, well, there's a little bit of truth in that, I'm sure. All of us get a little older. I can feel it sometimes. Let's take let's take a look at the concerts real quick. Go Jags, right? Go Jags. High school football is at bigjreport.com. Scroll our homepage. You'll find some high school football scores. Don't forget about the Mad Max Mix internet radio show, Wednesday night music request show with Mad Max from 7 o'clock till 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. That's 6 o'clock till 8 o'clock p.m. Central time, and can be accessed at www.madmaxmix.weebly.com. There are links in the Neighbors 2 section at bigjreport.com to find Mad Max's show and also JC's show live from the pub on Thursday nights at Lake Eufaula Hits. You'll find the links in the Neighbors 2 section for Mad Max's show and JC's live from the pub show in the Neighbors 2 section. There's also an article about Mad Max in the Outside the Box section of our website at bigjreport.com, and also a link at the end of the article. Okay, so Men at Work played a show in Jacksonville, Florida, with great reviews in Jacksonville back on October the 16th of 2024 at the Florida Theater. That comes to us from Big J Report. Here's a hidden gem, Lou Graham. Man, he's going to be at Mount Dora. And, man, it's going to be this Friday evening, October the 25th. Lou Graham performing soon in Mount Dora, Florida. That's Lou Graham of Foreigner fame. Graham spent many years with the group Foreigner. And after I researched it on YouTube, man, they did have a split. No doubt. There were some philosophical differences. And Lou Graham had a chance to do a solo album. He did, and had a big hit in Midnight Blue. And then, so they kind of went their separate ways. I don't know if Lou Graham will sing with them or play with Foreigner again. I probably think he will not. Lou Graham's getting up in age, but we all are. Lou Graham performing soon at the Mount Dora, Florida Community Building in Mount Dora, Florida, which is located just a little northwest of Orlando. This Lou Graham show scheduled for, Friday evening, October the 25th of 2024 at 7 o'clock p.m. On October the 25th at 7 o'clock p.m. this Friday evening in Mount Dora at the Mount Dora, Florida. What do they call that? The Mount Dora, Florida Community Building. That's right. And Mount Dora, Florida is located just a little northwest of Orlando. Night Ranger. I've seen Night Ranger, man. They're good. Man, those guys, for their age. I don't want to talk about age too much now, but these guys are energetic, man. Great guitar players, energetic. Probably their biggest hit was a song called Sister Christian. And they had many other hits, too. Night Ranger will be performing in Orange Park, Florida at the Thrasher Horn Center in Orange Park, Florida on Saturday. That'll be this Saturday evening, October the 26th of 2024 at 7:30 p.m. Also, here we go. In a few weeks or more, more appropriately in a few months, the Foreigner show. The Foreigner shows, I should say show. I think I put an S on there when we were typing it up. Also, in a few months, the Foreigner show comes to the St. Augustine Amphitheater on Sunday, March 16th of 2025 at 7 o'clock p.m. Reportedly, tickets selling very well for this one with Foreigner in North Florida. Great group, great songs. Cold as Ice. Right, Cold as Ice is one of the, I think, JC, do some research on the first big hit for Foreigner. I think Cold as Ice might have been the really first big hit, like top 10 hit. We know about Blue Monday by Foreigner. Great song. JC said it charted up to about 15th. So it was not an album track. Head Knocker, I believe, was an album track. And they had a lot of great album tracks. They had Waiting on a Girl Like You. I Want to Know What Love Is. Those were on the album, the fourth album by Foreigner. But they had big hits, prior to that as well. Foreigner had Urgent. That was on the number 4 album as well. But they had Head Games, Head Knocker, an album track. JC will map it out for you. I know JC this Thursday and next Thursday, he's going to play Supporter on Live from the Pub with JC on Thursday nights at LakeUfallahits.com. Great internet radio where it's all good. So we got all the shows in there. Let me see. That's basically it for now on the shows. We don't talk about all the shows out there in North Florida and surrounding areas, but shows that I would love to see, shows I would recommend people to see. So we give you a few of the shows, and they're up on the website in the Neighbors 2 section at bigjreport.com. Special thanks to our executive producer, JC, another producer, Alex Nunnery. Alex has been telling me about the ABA basketball. So a lot of the players that are playing for this new team, I think, used to play with the Jacksonville Giants when they were still around. Apparently, the Jacksonville Giants had disbanded in the last couple of years. They won some ABA championships. Some people call it the ABA 2 because it's not the original ABA. But, in chats I've had with Mr. Alex Nunnery, we're about 29 minutes in on the podcast. But let me see here. See, Alex has been talking to some of these guys that play for this new ABA team. They're actually going to play a home game this Saturday. Let's see, at Temple Christian, which I believe is located on the west side of Jacksonville. I don't know the exact address of it. The name of the team that is joining the ABA now, come out and support the Bold City Rattlers. $10 at the door, $5 all players wearing school or team jersey. Come out and support the Bold City Rattlers. And that game is going to be, excuse me, the game day will be on the 26th of October at 6:00 p.m. at the Temple. And let me get that correct now. It's not Trinity Christian. It's Temple Christian Academy Arena. But it is on. It is. I think Alex said it is on the west side. Temple Christian. They're going to be playing a team called the Florida All-Stars. So, again, ABA basketball, the Bold City Rattlers will be playing the Florida All-Stars. And if you want to see some basketball, it's, this is more semi-pro, professional basketball. Come out and support them. $10 at the door, $5 all players wearing school or team jerseys. The Bold City Rattlers playing the Florida All-Stars. Game day, the 26th of October, 6:00 p.m. at the Temple Christian Academy Arena. We'll get something up on the bigjreport.com website. We'll find the address of the arena. That game is coming up this Saturday. Round ball, college basketball around the corner. I think Florida's got a game. Their first game is going to be, I believe, the first week in November. We'll talk more round ball as the seasons approach. But right now we're heavy duty into the football season. Florida Gators 4-3, Jacksonville Jaguars 2-5, FSU Seminoles 1-6. Georgia has only one loss to Alabama, and Georgia a huge win for Georgia over number one ranked Texas 30-15 last Saturday. So a lot of exciting college football. We'll cover it right here at the Teal Shirt Report podcast. This is episode show number 56C. We appreciate you guys tuning in. I want to thank our sponsors, Lake Eufaula Hits, the Mad Max Mix, the madmaxmix.weebly.com with Mad Max, our Georgia Bulldog football insider, and he's also the host of the Mad Max Mix Internet Radio Wednesday night request show. And also check out JC on Thursday nights live from the pub with JC at LakeEufaulaHits.com. Great internet radio where it's absolutely all good. And Saucer Realty and Capital for your real estate needs in North Florida. There's links for Saucer Realty and Capital on our homepage near and around our North Florida 24/7 North Florida weather reports at bigjreport.com. On the homepage, we do have high school football scores on the homepage as well. Special thanks to our producers, our executive producer, JC, another producer, Alex Nunnery, and John Gaylor. Man, when I get to the end of the podcast, I'm thinking, I didn't mention this or I didn't mention that. Well, we'll get to it on the next episode. Subscribe to our channel. That's really important. That way you don't miss anything. Because you might want to say, we never mentioned this or never mentioned that. But everything is going on YouTube. Everything we do goes on YouTube. The audio vault for the audio platform, most everything is going on and because we want to be really good to our original listeners. And you go to our website at bigjreport.com, scroll the top of the homepage, and you'll find our audio version of our podcast right up there with the latest one that we put out there. So thank you for tuning in. Go Jags, go Gators. Mad Max, our Georgia Bulldog football insider, says, go Dogs. Hey, the Florida-Georgia game's coming up in a few days, right? Maybe I don't need to ask the question yet, but you know what it is. Can Florida? It's been a while. It's going to be right here in Jacksonville. The Georgia Dogs and the Florida Gators. The cocktail party. Man, oh man. That's coming up in early November. Get ready. We gave you some of the concerts here in North Florida and surrounding areas. JC, please get some foreigner on. I might have a surprise for JC. I might give him a request that he's not expecting also on his Thursday night show. live from the pub on Thursday nights at LakeUvalahits.com. Great internet radio where it's all good. And Mad Max, I'll be talking to you on Wednesday night. And Max has a great show every Wednesday night, the madmaxmix.weebly.com. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Teal Shirt Report podcast, episode show number 56C. Still saluting former Jacksonville Jaguars big defensive end, Jeff Lageman, still around town. Great guy. You guys have a great one. Thank you for tuning in to the Teal Shirt Report podcast. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. You guys have a great day, okay? Any comments, leave them concerning the Jaguars, Gators, North Florida Entertainment, your favorite music. Post that in a comment if you like. And can the Jaguars beat Green Bay? That's another question. Can they beat Green Bay at home? I can take a look at the line real quick. I think before we go, let's take a look at the line. Jacksonville Jaguars' latest line, because we like to make sure you guys are informed accurately. A couple of days ago, after the Jaguars had beaten New England 32-16, seems like there was a line already that night on this particular game, Green Bay versus Jacksonville, coming up this Sunday at home. Let me see if I can find the latest line before we go. This might be on the podcast. Jaguars and Packers this Sunday, October the 27th at 1 o'clock p.m. at Everbank Stadium. Let's see if we can pull up the line here. It was 4.5. Green Bay favored over the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, this is, as I said, this is a turning point game. This is an absolute turning point game for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's see if the line is coming up. We'll see if we can get some info. Sometimes when you're searching for lines, sometimes you can find them from where you want. Here, I think I found it here. Okay, let's see what the line is. The line is down to 4 points now. Green Bay is favored by 4. It was 4.5. Now, are the Jaguars back on the mend? They got the Packers, and the Jaguars are at home at Everbank Stadium this Sunday, October the 27th at 1 o'clock p.m. You're not going to believe this. And let me tell you what. Our source has been right the last 2 weeks. He said Chicago would win and cover. He said Jacksonville would win and cover over New England. So he predicted Chicago to beat Jacksonville and predicted the Jags to cover over New England, which they did. And Chicago covered over Jacksonville a couple of weeks back in the first London game. Now our source, I'm not going to tell you who they are, but they're saying Jacksonville will win, cover the spread, and the total will go under. How about those apples? That's actually some good news as we go out on the podcast. But hey, my source has been wrong before. Nobody's right all the time. But before I go Jags. Duval. And the coffee's great this morning. You guys have a great one. Our executive producer, JC, I'm expecting a good show on Thursday night on Live from the Pub on Thursday nights at Lake Eufaula Hits. Mad Max, I know you got great shows every Wednesday, the madmaxmix.weebly.com on Wednesday evenings. And Larry Saucer, thank you for all you do with Saucer Realty and Capital. Thanks for sponsoring the stuff we do at bigjreport.com and with the Teal Shirt Report podcast. You guys have a great day. Our executive producer, JC, thank you for making it happen. Thank you for helping to improve our broadcast by being our executive producer. I want to thank Alex Nundry. And our contributor and correspondent, John Gaylor, thank you very much. You guys have a great day. A tip of the coffee mug to each and every one of you. Please subscribe to the channel. Some of you are. And we're very new to YouTube, so we need the help. Please subscribe to the channel. Please give us a thumbs up, and you guys have a great day. Thanks for listening and watching to the Teal Shirt Report podcast as I hear the train. The train is coming right now at about 6:12 a.m. And if those tracks could talk, you guys have a great day, okay? Thank you for listening. And again, thank you for watching. I'm Scott, your host for the Teal Shirt Report podcast.